in the background while we let people filter in. We'll be right back.
Hello, hello. Hey, good to see you, Cam. Long time no see.
Big Iron Chris.
That's me, Chris, also known as Christopher. I do some marketing for Linea, and I'm super excited to be kicking off this restream and talk about everybody's favorite subject, the surge. So I'll give a quick rundown, and then I'm going to ask Cam a couple of questions and learn more about this beautiful program that's kicking off Linea season and exciting so many of the partners and community members who are showing up today to come hang out with us. Linea Surge, in a nutshell, is a way that you can collect LXP-L for participating in the Linea DeFi ecosystem. So bringing over ETH, stable coins, LRTs, etc., and then actually like putting those to use in lending protocols or DEX LPs. Not only are you earning the base yields that those positions would normally give you in your strategies, but you're also collecting LXP-L on top of that. How did I do, Cam?
You did good, man. You did really, really good. The really quick, everybody. You got Cameron here from Linea. Spend some time cross product, across consensus. You might see me in the ecosystem, working with DAOs or organizations. Even a lot of the
experts,
the governance, even a lot of the protocols native on Linea. And so I couldn't be more excited to be here, chat with Chris. He's going to walk us through some light questions on the surge, right? A good overview. We'll get some answers out there for everybody. And then we have 3 special partners. We're bringing in here Zeroland, one of the Frog's favorites. We'll also be talking to Gravita, just a baller protocol. And then lastly, we're going to close it out with something that's key to the success of every network, bridges, right? And so we'll talk to Conex. We'll bring in Matthew from Conex. And so, yeah, I think first and foremost, Chris, let's chat about the surge, man. Kick off some questions, some things that you're seeing in the community.
So, Pam, first question, and I actually just did a Twitter space about this today, so I'm fresh up on my questions from the good folks of Linea Maxis, our fellow Linea Maxis. How do I collect LXP-L?
Okay. So look, everybody now, right? We should be a little bit familiar, but for those of us who aren't, right, it's all about liquidity, right? And why that is so important is because liquidity is foundational to a network, especially as the network is working towards decentralizing, right? And so that's where this becomes really, really important, because you have to have a network that has an economy that works for its users, right? In this decentralized landscape, when users show up with all of our great dApps and partners, right, that liquidity is essential for them to participate in the ecosystem. So the surge, moving over to that, is all about actually participating in these, in these processes to provide liquidity to different dApps. So look, there's a few like pretty simple ways that you could participate, but providing liquidities into a pool, right? So this is two assets typically, simply put. Yeah, exactly, right? WETH and USDC, or two stable coins, they go into that pool because you are providing that liquidity as a user or a syndicate, a protocol. You should be collecting LXP-L.
Yeah, so I think that we're going to have also, obviously, a couple of great partners come on, and so it would be great to hear from them how, like, working with their protocol, what's the specific strategy for your dApp. Cool. So on that note, we've got 21 protocols are live now, which has been a huge feat of excellence from our partner OpenBlock Labs. They've been working tirelessly, and every protocol has also been working with them to help set this up. The surge is like a feat of data science and on-chain, off-chain technology. It's really been amazing to see build. As surge goes on, every volt is 1 month, and as every volt goes on, we'll continue adding more protocols. For now, Cam, as a user, where can I find a list of approved protocols and also tokens?
Yeah, 100%, guys. So look, our wonderful partners at OpenBlock, you can look at their dashboard for the most up-to-date list of what protocols are included and what are some of the assets that you can leverage at those protocols. So check out the OpenBlock's dashboard, right? We have official links on official Linea channels. Okay, so always be careful on the links that you're clicking on. But there you'll get a nice, clean picture of what protocols, and then separately all the different assets holistically in the surge. And so you'll have to go to the protocols to see what assets they actually accept as collateral, or or for the actual liquidity. But all that information is there. And the good news here, Chris, is that over the next few weeks, we will continue to onboard almost every dApp and application on Linea into the surge, right? Because again, the goal here is to promote liquidity provisioning. So if you provide liquidity, right, especially over time, as we continue to onboard, you will collect LXP-L. So
cool. That's awesome. Super helpful. Very clear. Appreciate that answer. Let me just boil this down to a one-sentence question. If I want to see all the protocols and all the tokens that I can use to participate in Linea Surge, is my best resource the OpenBlock Labs dashboard?
100%. 100%. Cool. Yeah. And that'll be updated in real time.
Right. And so if you want to find that dashboard, all you have to do is go to linea.build/surge. And there's links all over it. You just click the button, go to the dashboard, and you can discover it. You can also check our Twitter, and we've posted links to the dashboard. We posted links to that web page, and it's very easy to find and discover. Cool. So second topic, and I think that this is also a very similar answer. Where do I actually see my progress as a participant of Linea Surge?
Exactly. Yeah. And so the great answer here, right, for anybody listening is that source of truth. Always go check out that Open Blocks dashboard. Now, listen, right? These points are algorithmically being calculated. Okay. So there's a big points engine ingesting, all the data from these protocols and these assets and these activities. And so there might be a little delay. However, that's the first best place to go and look for these. As Chris said, I see some comments popping up and down. Check out the dashboard from the official linea.build channels. Just always to kind of proceed with caution, make sure you're going to the right place, interacting with the right dApps. One more quick note, actually, because I see some comments here as well. The data will actually start to show on the dashboard on the 20th, right? So we have a little bit of delay here. The points are being calculated, right? And so it's all happening in the background, but that delay is really to ensure that the dashboard is full. We have the right data. That when users go on and look on the 20th, that they'll see progress from their activity, even if it's the first few days.
Nice.
Yeah. So great questions there. I'd love to, Chris. Let's bring in some of our partners here over the next.
Are we ready to go to the frontiers and speak with the people building the component pieces of Linea Surge?
Hey.
Yeah.
Oh,
we're gonna
goodness.
go out there into the wild west of Linea now and talk to the people making it happen, the people building the dApps that you can actually interact with. So yeah, let's bring them on, Cam.
All right. So for our first guest, needs no introduction, we have the frog's favorite. We got Riker here from Zeroland. Riker, what's going on, man?
Hey Cam, hey Chris, nice to see you guys again.
Good to see you, man. I'll tell you, it's only been a few days since we had our last conversation. So
that's right, yeah.
Yeah, and in case people haven't, or rather, in case they didn't see that last conversation, would love to hear, if you want to give a little intro about you and Zeroland, and what's been up lately.
Yeah, so great to see everyone here. Great to see the frogs. Nice to meet everyone. Excited to be a part of the Linea Surge campaign. So my name is Riker. I'm the creator of Zeroland. Zeroland right now is the largest money market on Linea, but also at the same time, it supports a lot of the assets that are applicable for the Surge points, right? My background is computer science and math. So I'm a math nerd, I'm a tech nerd, but I've been building in DeFi for about 4 to 5 years now. And the one thing that I've learned a lot in this 4 to 5 years, is that we need to build things that are for the community and for the people. And so Zeroland recently, we conducted an airdrop on Linea. It was one of the largest airdrops on the Linea chain. We did more than $15-20 million of airdrops to Linea members. And at the same time, guys, we are super invested and want to make this the biggest biggest L2 possibly in this space right now, right? So yeah, that's a bit about us, a bit about me. Super grateful and excited to be here.
Dude, awesome, man. Awesome. Yeah, I love when protocols especially get involved in the community, right? And so seeing kind of that interaction has been wicked refreshing, and looking forward to seeing kind of where all those collaborations head to, and to see that kind of growth. And so give us a quick rundown. So I know we spoke about it before, but you said some magical words there, right? Lending markets. How could you actually participate at Zeroland? if you can kind of walk us through maybe what that looks like.
Right. So as a lending market, the way this works is very similar, guys, to Compound or Aave or any of the, you know, any of the familiar lending protocols that we know and love, right? So Zeroland works very similar in that aspect. And the best way to kind of, work or supply or contribute to Zeroland is to supply your assets, right? We have a lot of great partners, Cam, in this show right now. All of them have been listed on Zeroland, so which means you can sort of go in, put your assets to work, either passively, which means taking your ETH, USDC, or stable coins, putting them into Zeroland, and then someone else borrows it, and you kind of earn some yield on that. But you can also be a bit more aggressive with your Renzo, with your Gravita, Grai, all of the other assets that you can sort of borrow against with. So the simple thing, I guess, right now is for users to come in, deposit assets, borrow, and see some magic happen. And yeah, I think that's the simplest way to answer your question.
I love that. I love that. Just to recap, right? It's all about kind of getting in there, providing some of that supply side, guys, right? That this is kind of what we call like supply side liquidity, right? Some of that DeFi terminology, supplying that. That is, that's good for LXP-L, right? Providing that supply. And then what Riker's talking about, I don't want to talk about this too much because I find myself always saying the word loop. Okay. All right. All about the loop, right? The big loop, people. However, those aggressive or those a little bit more aggressive strategies, you can get creative with kind of how you interact in the ecosystem, providing liquidity at lending markets, right? And so super excited to kind of see that and see where that goes. And you know what, Riker, let's double click a little bit on some of the collaboration that Zeroland's had in the community. Like how does, or rather, if I'm a member of the eFrog community or or other social communities, how do they get involved with Zeroland? Yeah, give us a little rundown.
Yeah, so we love the eFrogs. I think that's a given. And I mean, I don't know if you can say we bought the top, but I still feel like there's a lot of room for eFrogs to still keep climbing.
The
'Cause
local top, dude. The local
we,
top. All right.
the local top, we bought a lot of eFrogs, so we're very bullish on the community for many reasons, right? We think that the ecosystem has a lot of things that can be done. So be it NFT lending, be it lending with stable coins like Gravita, or lending with LRTs like EtherFi or Renzo or Kelp. There's a lot that you can do and with a lending protocol, just like how you can do a lot of things with a DEX, right? So a lending protocol and a DEX are the few primitives that you would need in a new chain. And for us, really, I mean, we don't just want to build something awesome. We also want to engage the community a lot. So, like for example, the eFrogs received a donation from Zeroland of $20,000 of Zero tokens. This is just our gift to the community and in representative of the chain as well. So we're also building NFT lending, which allows you to, do loans against your eFrog NFTs and things like that, right? So there's a lot of stuff that we are building, and I think involving the community is super, super important. Not just our community, but Linea, eFrogs, everyone, Gravita, all of the other communities as well. So yeah.
I want to drill into something you mentioned, Riker, because I saw somebody bring it up in chat. NFT lending.
Yep.
When? How does
Yep.
it work? What's the
Yep.
alpha?
So we doubled our tech team, and it's gonna happen pretty soon. So yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
and when that happens, eFrogs will be the first collection to do NFT lending, and that's also why we bought a lot of eFrogs. So yeah.
Oh wow.
So
Smart.
dude, if that happens during the surge, we're gonna have to link and see, what would that look like as participation as well for the surge, because that's just a great primitive, man, great primitive with a strong collection, strong community. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is it possible, Cam? Is it possible to have NFTs in the lending market be picked up for LXP-L?
Big Iron Chris, my friend, anything is possible. Okay.
Anything is
And so,
possible.
yeah, especially with time, right? And so, as that development, continues, we'll make sure to stay up on that. Again, right, guys, the whole goal here with the surge, by being active participants, right, you should have, there should be a way to measure that, right, to reward that, right? And so, the LXP-L campaign is really focused on that as we move closer to what decentralization looks like. Well, I'll tell you what, Riker, my main man, we can have you on for hours.
One last question. Sorry, Cam, to interrupt.
Yeah,
What
hit it.
about what about memes, Riker? Meme culture coins, whatever you want to call them.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Integration into lending markets, because we've got Foxy that's trading very, very high volume, super large community of adoption.
Yeah, we have Foxy tokens as well. We also bought Foxy tokens, and so there are two. And if meme coin lending is something very exciting, and we're building that with an upcoming peer-to-peer lending market that's going to be really cool. Again, exclusive to going to start on Linea, right? So when that happens, Foxy is going to be one of the first coins that we do meme coin lending on. And so in summary, we're building a lot. We've doubled our tech team, and we're just going to try and see how much more we can build and keep adding value. So NFT lending is on the horizons, peer-to-peer lending is on the horizons. I'm hoping pretty soon we get these things live. And as a big holder of Foxy as well, we want to do a trial with them first. So yeah, that's basically it.
Super interesting. Yeah, meme coin lending is something that hasn't really happened a lot because of the volatility. So it's really exciting to hear that this innovation is coming on Linea, and we've got such a great cultural community to be first integrated.
Let's go, man. Let's go. The Zeroland all over, man. I love it. I love to see the activity. Riker, we got some of the community saying when hat. So we're gonna have to get you a hat here pretty soon.
We need to start sending partners hats, Cam.
We got to start sending hats, man. I'm telling you, Riker. Again, man, thank you so much for your time. And we're gonna jump over.
Yeah.
And Chris, we got next here. We got Gravita, and so OG. Right, OGs in the space. Now we're talking about these things we call CDPs, collateralized debt positions. I certainly won't do it justice. So we're going to bring in Rhett here.
Hello,
welcome, Rhett.
Hey, glad to be here.
Rhett, man, good man. Thanks for hopping on. I know I said this before, but that background, fresh, man. It's a great background, and so we're super excited to kind of get on here. So look, we'll start off with a little bit about you and the protocol, and then one thing I really want to focus on here, because Big Iron Chris, myself, we don't really talk about it a lot, but CDPs are critical in ecosystems, and so we want to kind of explain what that is later in this, as we're talking and as we're having conversations. Really want to kind of take an educational approach here with CDPs, but we'll kick it off to you for a little background in yourself, and then you could roll right into Gravitas, man.
Sure, that sounds great. Yeah, so I'm Rhett, the founder of Gravita. So a little back history on me. Before crypto, I was doing data science, was building machine learning models for a living in the HR and hiring space. Was too obsessed with DeFi to stay away, so I transitioned over a few years back. And before Gravita, I was doing more asset management. Allocated for a stablecoin yield fund, for example, and that sort of thing. And then have been building Gravita for a little while now. So to give a little bit of background on CDPs and Gravita specifically, actually, it's learning about kind of this concept that really got me super stoked about DeFi clear back in probably 2017. I remember Rune Christensen talking about the concept of MakerDAO, and back then it was kind of like, I don't know, can you stabilize a stablecoin that way? And if so, that's like really powerful and super exciting. And now it's like a super established thing. Our platform Gravita is based on Liquidity, for those who are familiar with LUSD, and friendly to Liquidity. We love them, and with some key differences. So user deposits collateral in our system in the form of ETH or some LSTs or LRTs. And then as debt, they mint GRI, our debt token, which is our basically the debt token of the system, and has some stabilization measures to keep it relatively close to the dollar. And then you can go do with that GRI as you please, and then there's some good things to do with it on Linea. And then to get your collateral back, you come back and pay that debt off, and you get your collateral back. So that's the basics of the system. The over-leveraged borrowers are liquidated through a stability pool. So for those who want to take GRI and just deposit in the stability pool, when someone gets liquidated, you basically are converting your GRI into ETH and LST, LRTs at a market discount. So if you're like, hey, I just want to park some assets there, I'll help backstop the protocol and slowly DCA into ETH. That's basically what you're doing there. So that's for a certain user profile. That's great.
I love that. Yeah, I love that. Just really quick. So we well, no, I mean not we, but even myself, I've participated in some CDPs along my journey as I continue out west. And your explanation was great, man. Like there was a lot even that I picked up, and so like as a good summary, right? By going and providing supply into Gravita, you basically can mint a stable coin, right, of sorts. And then, there's different algorithmic methods to kind of try to keep that at $1. So it's similar to kind of how DAI works. And then as collateral, I'm really curious, like what can you take as collateral? Is it only ETH and LRTs? Do you see a lot of people showing up with like Easy ETH or EtherFi, any kind of LRT and using that? Give us a little rundown on that.
Yeah, good question. So we don't take a lot of various collateral types. We think that kind of we love working with lots of teams, but the collateral we take that's backing GRI, we want it to be pretty pristine. And so at the moment, we just take ETH, a number of LSTs and LRTs, and we exclude censorable collateral. And then actually, on ETH mainnet, there's one exception. We take BLUSD. It's basically a yield-bearing version of LUSD. It's one of the ways we're friendly to Liquidity, and it's censorship resistant as well. So it meets all those criteria. But for the purposes of this conversation, it's ETH, LSTs, and LRTs. Any one position is just one collateral asset. So you can have a position where you borrow against ETH and another position where you borrow against an LST of your choice.
Cool.
And so those are the assets that we take. The most popular collateral type have been the LRTs lately.
Yeah.
Those have been the most popular. But actually, there's been lots of demand for LSTs and even ETH borrowing. Different people have different preferences there.
Amazing. Yeah, I like that. It's in the DeFi world, right? That's what we call isolated, right? For anybody listening, right? So your collateral is isolated by the asset, right? And there's tons of benefits for that. Mainly, I would assume it's probably for risk purposes. I got one more like really interesting question that I'd love to ask, and then if Big Iron Chris has anything, feel free to jump in. Where is your liquidity? What so we mint GRI. GRI is what we use, right? GRI should be close to $1. We can then, as users, go use that in the ecosystem. And so, do you have partnerships, or kind of where are those biggest pools across the network? Just so we're aware.
Yeah, great questions. So our biggest liquidity pool right now is GRI paired to USDC on Nile exchange. Cool. So if you want to mint some GRI and then go pair it to some USDC over there, or we love people who just want to come into the liquidity side too. So say maybe you don't want to be borrowing against ETH, you just want to hold stables and liquidity provide. You can just buy some ETH on the market and liquidity provide in that pool. We also have a pool on Zeroland, so that's single-sided lending, or you can use it as collateral. If you want to get real fancy, you could do both at the same time, where say you mint some GRI, throw it in Zeroland, borrow some USDC, and then throw those together into that Nile pool. So then you're in Zeroland, you're in Nile, and participating. A couple of quick points. So we will be rolling out new liquidity pairs too. A lot of people love those kind of stable swaps, the GRI USDC. But we love partnering with other stables, so you'll see more of those. But we also love the volatile liquidity providers who love to do those sorts of things. So, GRI paired to ETH, GRI paired to LSTs and LRTs, we'll be adding those as well for those who kind of want to do that kind of liquidity provisioning. And then last quick point, we are running a points campaign as well called Gravita Ascend, and nearly all of our points are going to people who are taking that side, either liquidity providing or lending, or providing liquidity into our stability pool. So for those who want to come in and deploy GRI into Zeroland or Nile, etc., you'll be getting Gravita Ascend points as well.
Awesome. So there's actually like a compounding strategy here, right? So I could go get some GRI. Theoretically, I could then lend it to Zeroland as a lending protocol, take collateral, and then LP it against USDC on the famous Nile exchange, which I actually just posted a very nice tweet write-up about. Rhett, I would love you to read that and give me your opinion as somebody who's like way more advanced than me in DeFi. But there's more, right? So you're getting LXP-L from each of those positions. You're getting whatever that default yield is, but you're also earning points from what was the name of yours again? The points?
We're calling them Ascend marks. So you earn
Ascend
marks. Yeah.
Amazing. Marks.
So yeah, you'll earn those. And then one other point really quickly on each of those, we are giving a boost to those who provide through what's called the Turtle Club. It's kind of it's non-custodial, but if you just go to their site and say, hey, I'm part of the club, then you get a little bit of a boost. So
shout out to the Turtle Club. Yep.
Yeah.
Good guys.
Yeah. So we love them, and so yeah, there's a couple of points of boost there.
Okay, I've got one last question. On Linea, we have this ecosystem of animals, Rhett, and I want you to pick your favorite animal for Linea. Is it the fox? Is it the frog? Or is it the turtle?
Oh man, I love them all.
Great answer. Great answer.
As a fan of the Dark Tower, I'm gonna have to say turtles. I don't know if you guys have read that book.
I have great books.
So
good answer, man.
Well, Rhett, I'll tell you what, man. Thank God, that you joined DeFi coming out of machine learning. This was really, really a great talk. I'm looking forward to users kind of going over to Gravita, interacting with it, providing that liquidity, seeing just how much more ingrained we can see GRI in the ecosystem. It's just beneficial for all parties. So looking forward to the next time we speak, man.
Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
All right. Cheers, Rhett.
It was really great to hear about it.
Appreciate it.
Whoo. All right,
cooking.
Dude, I know. That's what I'm saying, man. This is this is actually really, really fun, even for me. I get to learn about these protocols even more.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen GRI all over the place, but I never actually knew what it was, because it's just like there's infinite things that you can do in DeFi, right? And like
exactly.
What do you pay attention to? So that was awesome. I learned a lot. I want to go try it.
Yeah. I'm gonna follow up with Rhett, actually. I want to talk to Rhett more about his background and all this other stuff. The really quick, I want to give a quick shout out before we bring on our next partner, Turtle Club. Okay, so we may have heard of that. Definitely check that out, right? And so this is like an LP syndicate. What they do is they help to organize and strategize amongst LP providers. And so because they're doing that, right, they have a little bit of leeway or leverage to go in and find what the best strategies are and work directly with protocols on that. So definitely check out their website. I'm not sure just on the, hyper technicals regarding it, but check it out, float around. There's some really cool things going on across the ecosystem that, even we're learning about daily. So, people are organizing.
Turtle Club is great. I actually heard about it before I knew they were going to participate in the surge. Some of my friends who work at Balancer and other leading DeFi, they were like, "Yeah, dude, come join Turtle Club." And I was like, "I don't know," but then it turned out to be this awesome place and like a really great community. So definitely go check it out. Good learning spot, and hopefully to see more community connections between our cultural communities and the Turtle Club too. We want the turtles to stay on Linea. So foxes, go forth, go into the turtles lair and make new friends. And I know the frogs are already there. So let's keep the beautiful turtles in our neck of the woods, eh?
I love it, man. I love it. And so look, this next topic is literally near and dear to my heart. One of the earliest projects I worked on was actually a bridging protocol. It's like, I don't even know, 5 years ago maybe or something. But we were looking at how to connect Bitcoin and Ethereum using the Bitcoin relay. For any of us like who remember this from back in the day, the Bitcoin relay. Inevitably, my friends, we moved on to new projects. However, bridging has since always been just at the forefront of how do we connect, right? All of these chains that we're creating, L2s, L3s, Alt L1s, interoperability. And so our next partner here, we're going to bring on Matthew from Conex. Conex is just wonderful tech, man. I've been following them for a long time. We'll get an LE5 on bridging and some of the ways that users can participate.
Cam, thanks for having me. Chris, good to see you. First and foremost, I feel completely rugged about the hat coordination. So, but no, Cam, you took me down. You took me on a trip down memory lane with talking about the early days of bridging. To give a brief overview on myself, I've been in the space for 8 or so years now, and actually I've spent the majority of my time here working on bridging solutions. And so my first company in the space, actually, we really kind of were centered around the same thesis of how do we connect Bitcoin. And so we built some of the earliest bridging technology using stateless SPVs to do early days like NFT auctions where you could purchase Ethereum NFTs using Bitcoin. So and awesome. Man, what a ways we have come since then. So yeah, super excited to be here. Conex, if you guys don't know, we've been an early partner of Linea. Big ups to the whole Linea community. You guys absolutely obliterated some of our infrastructure during testnet, which was awesome. It led us to build a lot of cool new scalability solutions there. So yeah, moreover, excited to be here to give you a little overview on Conex. Conex has been around since 2017, one of the earliest builders of like Ethereum scalability mechanisms from Clearback with state channels and things like that in the early consensus days. And so, since then we've kind of evolved to be a full-fledged interop protocol. One of our first versions of bridging was cross-pollinate, if you guys remember that fondly from back in the day. Did a lot of volume there. And now today, Conex, really our thesis and why I love taking part in this is we're starting to see this modular expansion come to fruition, right? More chains are launching than ever before. And we have these points programs which create these amazing incentives for users and protocols. But it's a bit of a double-edged sword, right? We're increasing fragmentation. It's getting more and more difficult to move between chains. And that's really at the heart of what we do at Conex is thinking about like, how do we overcome these barriers that we're creating? We're enhancing scalability, we're creating new opportunities, but we're also just annihilating user experience. And, we're in a world with like 10 or 15 dominant chains right now. Let's flash forward to a world of 1,000. Like, what does that look like for protocols to manage deployments across those and have fragmented liquidity and fragmented user experiences? And so with Conex was actually the first protocol to bring live chain abstraction to market. I'm sure many of you guys have done liquid restaking with Renzo. that is a chain abstracted experience, right? Behind the scenes, that's still happening on mainnet, that restaking through eigenlayer and all of that. But from a user experience perspective, users on Linea can restake, they can receive that LRT, and then behind the scenes, Conext is actually handling all of that. And so we feel that that's what chain abstracted experiences should look like. Users on any chain should be able to interact with applications and not really worry too much about the underlying infrastructure. And so, yeah, excited to be part of the points program and really start sharing some more.
I love that. I love that. Really quick, how many chains does Conext kind of service or connect?
Yeah. So today I think we're on like 10 or 12 chains. It's an interesting problem. It's one where even as cross-chain service providers, you experience the same type of difficulties that protocols do today, which is like chains are launching daily. It's hard to provide support. And so actually really exciting days ahead. Within the next few weeks, we'll be announcing some big news that we hope will really overcome that and allow for seamless chain expansion. So hopefully many more chains to come over the next few months.
I love that.
Yeah. Matthew, do you at Connect mostly focus on EVMs, or are you still like?
Yeah, so I mean, predominantly EVMs. I mean, I think that's where a lot of the users are. We've seen kind of these rise of protocols that are doing quite well, like Solana and otherwise. And I think that's a direct result of kind of like their attempt to solve the liquidity fragmentation. Yeah. And so we're thinking about those same types of solutions for the EVM ecosystem. Of course, in the longest term vision, we want to support everyone. But yeah, today, predominantly EVM.
I love that.
So
good. It's a good time
to
be
you
a
also
bridge.
See a future where like I'm out there, I'm going to swap on Linex. I have no idea what chain Linex is on, right? It's just like,
yeah, good point.
While it connects, it swaps, and maybe there's even like you could hit liquidity on 2 different chains, and that's just the most efficient route. Do you see that?
Yeah, exactly.
Reality?
That's how we view chain abstracted experiences is that we need to get closer to what Web 2 experiences feel like today. When we load a YouTube video, we don't like think of the decentralized architecture that comes into play to spin up servers and serve this video. We just care about this end value. And in the same way, like bridging actually kind of sucks, right? Like there's no value extraction here. We're using it as a means to get from A to B. And so we envision a world where users are allowed to kind of like directly interact with the applications. And behind the scenes, we can work to kind of like coalesce these intents from various protocols to say, okay, like whether it's 1 or 5 steps that needs to happen behind the scenes, for the user, it should feel as seamless as just clicking to restake. And you know, for what it's worth, I think we're doing that with Renzo. Renzo is the biggest chain abstracted application today. A lot of people kind of obviously mentally associate it with restaking. But you know, when you're restaking your wrapped ETH on Linea today, that's a chain abstracted experience. Behind the scenes, Conext is taking that and bridging it back alongside call data to be able to bring it to mainnet and restake it. But from a user perspective, you just restake and you've got your token and can go freely about your day.
Yeah, like I've restaked on Renzo and I didn't realize that there was this like technical wizardry happening on the back end. I was just like, oh, sick. I can restake on layer 2 now. Like that's all I wanted. So it's really cool because, you know, we started by talking about bridges and everybody who's on chain understands bridging experience. But what's really exciting is what you're talking about, how Conex is actually solving UX problems by abstracting the chain selection and the liquidity fragmentation experience. And just like I suppose you just provide that as a service to a DApp partner. What's the relationship that you have there?
Yeah, for sure. So we're working to move towards like a place where applications can just permissionlessly integrate this. But today, yeah, the basics are that you integrate Conex into the backend. It's a pretty lightweight integration that for most developers just takes I guess on the back end, a very short amount of time. There's a lot of things to think about from a UI perspective. How do we display the steps that are happening as far as these, you know, tokens transiting chains and things of that nature? And so I think there's more consideration that goes into how to rebuild DeFi UIs to be chain abstracted. But yeah, today users and protocols can build Conext into the backend so that they can access users from any chain. Behind the scenes, we'll handle all of that, like bridging, swapping, restaking.
That is so cool. That is so cool, man. Like honestly, I didn't really know what y'all did, and that is just like so cool. And I see it coming 3 years. 3 years, it's going to be a whole different world of on-chain experiences, and like you're building the forefront of that. So
For sure, yeah. And
I have one
exciting
more
things to
question.
come. I'm telling you, keep an eye out. In a few weeks' time, we'll
I will.
Ah,
I will.
God, I love that. I love the
You just
word
earned a new
news.
Twitter follower.
I love
Big
the
Iron
word
Chris
news.
is coming
Hell
to a
yeah.
Twitter follow near you. So, Matthew, last question. Linea ecosystem, your favorite animal. Is it the fox? Is it the frog? Or is it the turtle?
I gotta say, man, I see the frogs showing up every time. They're dominating the chat, and I respect
They're
it.
croaking.
All right.
They're croaking, man.
You're a croakster.
Matt,
Solid
really
choice.
quick here before we sign off. Some of the different ways that users can participate at Conext is around liquidity, and so Conext has Next assets, which are used in the bridging process, and you guys also have liquidity pools that are accessible on your UI. Users can find those on the Conext UI. And see how and where they could participate. Bridge liquidity is critical to ecosystems, my friends. And so, check out that heat map. You'll always find a little bit more heat around the bridging ecosystem.
Yeah, I think you summed it up quite well. By supplying liquidity in our stable swap pools, you're able to earn these points. Obviously, because we're facilitating like the chain abstracted experience for Renzo. Also, another great opportunity there that utilizes Conex tangentially. But yeah, if you head over to bridge.conex.network on the pools page, there you can supply. And in the Linea tweet thread, it has all of the supported assets. So whether that's Next USDC, USDT, DAI, ETH. So yeah,
amazing. All right, Matthew. We'll chat with you soon. Most definitely. That was an
Cam,
awesome
Chris, thanks for having us.
conversation. All right, brother.
Cheers, brother.
All right, Chris, dude. I know we only have a few minutes here to close it off, but man, that was really awesome. We covered so much. From lending markets, how users can participate, CDPs. I'm so bullish on Gravita, and then we got taken to school talking about chain abstraction, bridging. Where liquidity plays into that. I know we do have to give it a quick sign off here, and so if you have anything you'd like to say, and then I'll close this out.
Yeah, I think it was just one thing that is super interesting to me is how all of these protocols play together. And for people who are collecting LXP-L in the surge, there's a lot of ways to like leverage that. And I feel like each expert of the fields of lending and bridging and CDPs came on, and like if you take those pieces, maybe you can assemble something beautiful
Advanced
as you
strategies.
participate in the surge. That's right. Yeah. So
Yeah.
if you do come up with something and you're feeling like, oh my God, this is incredible, tag OXCam1 and tag Big Iron Chris on Twitter, and we want to see your Linea Surge strategies. We'll give shout outs to the coolest, most innovative, most degen ones out there. Let me just say it like that. Yeah, and the other thing I want to say is like, it's always awesome to see the community come out, right? We got so many people in chat. The Fox Army came, the Frogs came, and hopefully, I also saw like Niall North was in chat, Mendy was in chat. Just awesome to see. Like every time we do one of these, the whole ecosystem shows up, and that's how we grow together.
Amazing, man. Well, Chris, dude, you head out, man. Thank you so much for joining us. It was a pleasure as always. My friends, everybody's still here. The surge is live, right? So your participation, will be accounted for. Quick heads up, right? On that dashboard, you won't see points or see any of the activity until the 20th. Okay. And again, the reason for that is we want to make sure that we have that holistic view. We have points flowing into that dashboard. You guys can check it out now to see all of the protocols. You'll find Zeroland, Gravita, Conex. We have about 21 protocols live. More will be added every week, right? So check out those assets, that heat map, learn and read about the surge, get involved in communities, and I'm sure we'll be talking again soon. Till next time, peace.